Good evening, esteemed colleagues. My name is April Knight. My husband Michael and I have been married for 32 years, and we have 3 wonderful children. Justin's a CPA, Raina is an air quality expert for the Ohio EPA, and the baby is going to be graduating from Ohio University in 2 months with a teaching degree. It is her intention and desire to serve students with multiple disabilities as an intervention specialist. In addition to being a wife and a mother, I am the proud principal of Avondale Elementary and serving a pre-K through 5th grade in Columbus City Schools, the largest district in the state of Ohio. I'm also very proud to have served the great principals in Maryland, Ohio, Virginia, West Virginia, and DC for the past 3 years as NAESP's Zone 3 Director. And it's my true honor to be with you, sharing my desire to serve as your next Vice President of the National Association of Elementary School Principals. Even after 18 years as a principal and 31 years in education, I still love it. Many people ask why. Why did you become a teacher? And why would you become a principal? We probably all face those questions. But really, what is the why? Marian Wright Edelman, an American activist for children's rights and the founder of the Children's Defense Fund, said, "Education is for improving the lives of others and for leaving your community and the world better than you found it." I think as educators, we strive to do just that. We want to help mold the future by ensuring our students are highly educated, prepared for leadership and service, and empowered for success. That's my why. We want the very best for our students because they will be our future. And while we work to make all of that happen for them, principals are constantly having to deal with obstacles such as staffing shortages, safety protocols, curriculum, changing policies, assessments. The list goes on and on. For me, the COVID-19 pandemic really tested my why because it made me feel like I'd lost control. All across the country, principals worked to get technology in the hands of their students. Meeting on Zoom, Google Classroom, it became a regular part of our day for our students, families, and staff. We did our best, but the repercussions are overwhelming. For the past 2 years, the foundation of education has been totally upended. And one of the greatest consequences has been student learning loss. Not being face-to-face with our students on a daily basis was distressing. But the frustration of still being held accountable to state standards that were not modified to account for our students' growing learning loss, that was intolerable. Working collectively with principals from across the country to share approaches that are focused on solutions, not barriers, is one of my prominent motivations for seeking the office of NAESP Vice President. Currently, schools across the nation are experiencing teacher shortages. At a time when we need teachers, people are hesitant to pursue a career in education because the profession has been so negatively impacted. As your next VP, advocating for our profession would be a key priority for me. It's time to have those crucial conversations with teacher prep programs and with policymakers about ways to improve recruitment, prep programming, wages, and benefits. Additionally, we know that the pandemic has greatly exacerbated the issues of mental health and social-emotional well-being. Schools have always been a place for children and adults to heal and regulate their emotions that build up due to trauma and life experiences. We recognize the need to help students and staff with self-care and try to provide supports that will enable them to be emotionally regulated, ready to teach and learn. We also know that principals need social-emotional support as well. So as Vice President, I intend to promote increased SEL training and additional SEL staff to ensure all have what they need to be successful. If elected, I will work diligently to effectively represent all of our members as we work to build upon the forward-thinking ideas of administrators and to advocate for our youth. I want to support NAESP as we move forward and focus on other key issues relevant to our profession, including removing barriers to student success, such as poverty, mental health challenges, and lack of resources, advocating for change in educational policy and public funding at the local, state, and federal levels, supporting principals as we work to ensure students have access to the best possible education, developing and maintaining high professional standards and leadership among administrators, and increasing our membership by continuing to provide more resources and professional development opportunities and strengthening those partnerships between our state associations and NAESP. While the responsibilities of administrators are ever changing, our commitment to education remains steadfast. NAESP and our state affiliates seek to promote guidance and support while promoting the professional growth, status, and welfare of administrators based on the highest standards of knowledge, expertise, and trust. For me, NAESP is a vehicle to help me with my why. The quote by Marian Wright Edelman I shared encompasses what we're trying to do, and NAESP will help us achieve that. In closing, I strongly believe, as a seasoned principal of 18 years, that I would represent our membership well as vice president, and it would be my distinct honor and privilege to continue the work of the amazing NAESP leaders before me by serving and advocating for our profession as your next vice president of NAESP.
Thank you, April. At this time, we will move into the question and answer portion of the presentation. April, you will have 2 minutes to respond to the following question. If elected, what would be your 2 greatest priorities for your term as president of NAESP? Again, if elected, what would be your 2 greatest priorities for your term as president of NAESP?
So my 2 greatest priorities for my term as NAESP president are very simple. 1, I want to work to ensure that our students have access to the best possible education by developing and supporting principals through mentoring programs, through professional learning opportunities, communication, and our steadfast work with advocacy. Number 1. My second greatest priority is to continue NAESP's trajectory as that thought leader we know we are by increasing our membership and by working to strengthen the partnerships between the state associations and NAESP. It's important that everybody knows the value of the NAESP membership and what that they can contribute to that value. But it's also important that as we work together with the state associations, that we are diligently putting forth that effort to advocate for our profession so that everybody wants to be involved in education.
Thank you, April. Now we will move to the second question, which you will select randomly. Again, the candidates do not know these specific questions, only the nature of them. Research suggests that 50% of principals leave the profession between years 3 and 5. How would you advise principals about work-life balance and setting priorities to stay in the profession? Again, research suggests that 50% of principals leave the profession between years 3 and 5. How would you advise principals about work-life balance and setting priorities to stay in the profession?
Well, that's kind of a $1 million question, right? It's sobering to recognize that 50% of the principals leave the profession. And after such a short period of time, which is 3 to 5 years, 3 to 5 years, you haven't really got in to see what it's all about. So how would I advise principals about maintaining that work-life balance and setting priorities? Well, I've been doing this for 31 years. I still don't have it right. And yet I have, thankfully, a supportive family who understand if I have to go to school on Saturday, okay, we'll let her, we'll help. You have to make sure that first and foremost, you are taking care of yourself and your family. Self-care, we cannot help our students and staff if we are not caring for ourselves. I also think that we need to continue our focus on mentoring and helping to provide opportunities for aspiring principals and for principals that are early in their career, providing them with a wealth of opportunity to see how things work in our profession. And we know everything's different each time, each district, each school. We need to recruit and we need to support, but we have to promote self-care.